But yes, do apologize. We were supposed to be on about 10 minutes ago, but due to unforeseen circumstances, but it all worked out, ladies and gentlemen. So we have some very special guests with us. I'm sitting here, first of all, with our Vice President, Sarah. How's it going, Sarah?
Hi, it's good. I know. Happy first big snow of Colorado for those who are here. Stay safe on the roads. It is definitely getting icier. And yeah, as we were talking with our guests that we'll introduce here soon, it's beautiful to look at and crazy to drive in.
That's
So,
right.
but yes, happy holidays, everyone. It's good to be flexible and just roll and be kind, right?
It is. Well, this is a different kind of interview. We have one person in our studio, and one person remote. So
Yeah.
one person is here with us in all the snow, and one person, Helen, how warm is it down there where you are?
Oh gosh, I think today it got up to about 55 maybe.
I know, Mike. Okay. So it is very cool. So we're remote and on social media, and we have someone here. So it's very cool. So you can still jump on Facebook if you want to comment. We have a wonderful nonprofit with us. We have the Warrior Bonfire program. And if you do have your computer or tablet in front of you, you can go to their website, warriorbonfireprogram.org. We have Mike Foss, who's the president, which is in the studio. And we have Helen Phillips from Alabama, who's the vice president. So we're all collective here today.
Nice.
I know it. It is exciting. So I hope for those of you that are listening on the radio, thank you, of course. And you can jump on our YouTube channel or our Facebook channel on K4CO Radio if you want to know more about the Warrior Bonfire program. They're absolutely amazing. We were introduced to them, more than a year ago now, because we were at their vet stock over the summer. So the Warrior Bonfire program provides opportunities that improve the lives of Purple Heart recipients, which is near and dear to lots of our hearts. But Helen, I want to turn it over to you. Tell us a little bit, kind of the general big scope of Warrior Bonfire program and how you originally got involved.
So the Warrior Bonfire program serves Purple Heart recipients across the country, and we provide small group retreats, doing various activities, hunting, skiing, fishing, it, just really kind of anything that we can kind of come up with. And yeah, I got involved in the early days in the beginning, where the concept was introduced to a group of us in Mississippi to get out and start helping uh, our our Purple Heart recipients, combat wounded, and I just jumped on board right away with wanting to help, because the way it was explained to us is um, that these men and women needed our support, and um, in I had a great understanding of the healing process and how long that takes, and how difficult that journey could be from some of my personal experiences, which were not from combat, but still the healing process is very challenging. And so that resonated with me really quickly. And so I immediately wanted to help. The easiest way I knew how to help was to start purchasing URLs and for the founder at the time. And um, I just went home and I got all those, and I got them all set up for him. And at the time, it was really early in the phase of URLs, and we didn't quite know what that was. And so then I started helping on the side. And then a couple years later, I assisted in putting together a retreat in Tampa, Florida. And it was incredible, the amount of support that we found really quickly. And with that, I came on board and started doing retreats. So I got involved.
What year was it that this all got started?
Technically 2013. The idea was born in 2012, and I think we received the IRS determination letter in 2015. And so from that point, we were doing 2, 3 retreats a year, and then every year we just started building. And now we're up to this year. We just finished with 37 retreats, and next year our goal is 40, but I think we've already got 42 in planning, so we're already surpassing that goal.
Amazing. Already at 40. That's quite the jump in roughly 10 years. That's very impressive. And this is all over the United States, correct?
Correct. I think we've touched 32 states with retreats. And this coming year we'll bring Nebraska.
Bonfireprogram.org website right now. And it's so fun that you all really come up with creative ways. That's what I love about it. Not only do you have, we'll get into the ceremony itself that you all celebrate, but you do go for hikes and skiing. And you also open up to not only the Purple Heart recipients, but also to their loved ones as well.
Correct. So
just like if you look at all of the people that serve in the military, they all come from different backgrounds. They all have different interests, right? So we're always trying to find activities that will attract anyone, right? So some of my favorite ones are where we pull in historical tours. Like we've gone to Gettysburg Military Park, we've gone to Vicksburg National Military Park. We've done a tremendous amount of tours in Boston, the Boston Tea Party Museum, and the USS Constitution. And so, along with the activities of the hiking and the skiing and the kayaking and those things, we've also started to learn that they really love connecting with American history, and they're a part of American history. And so just like there's so many different people in the military, different backgrounds. So the activities, we just try to have a little bit of something for everybody.
So this is open to Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, any branch. Is that also correct?
All branches. The only qualification is that they have to have a Purple Heart. So that means that they were given the Purple Heart medal due to their wounds in battle that were lost at the hand of the enemy.
Definitely, I love that we are, of course, on social media platforms and people are listening in Colorado, outside of Colorado. This is all over the United States. If you know someone who has been a recipient of a Purple Heart, that you know of someone, if they're struggling, definitely give them a call. It's 601-994-3266. And I also highly recommend checking out the website. Again, it's warriorbonfireprogram.org, and it goes over all of the different programs, the fundraisers, which we'll get into. It's a great way to get involved, right? Community all over the place, and meet like-minded people too, to have your own built-in community there. So please, if you know someone, if you are listening and this resonates with you, definitely reach out. Mike, you're the head honcho, the president of this organization.
Well, I wouldn't say the head honcho
I'm
by
say
any
it.
means.
You're the president.
There's 4 of us. We all do the same stuff.
Okay. Tell us when you originally got involved, what inspired you?
Well, I originally got involved back in the early days. A guy named Dan Fordyce, who's our founder, who actually got Helen involved as well. Dan and I started our Army career together some 40-some years ago. And he called me and said, "Hey, I'm taking these guys on a ski trip." And he asked me to help him. So, I live here in Denver. They're going up in Grand County. So I said, sure. And what you really find is it's not about skiing and snowmobiling and all the activities you do. There's healing in the great outdoors, but it's really the group coming together. It's amazing. Night one, everybody's telling their story. And so many times there's people that can't get it out. Or so many times, I don't know. I think it's happened only one time where suicide wasn't mentioned. And so it's bringing them together, talking about their stuff and what they're going with. You can only truly talk to someone else who's been through the same experience. You know, I wasn't wounded in combat. Shoot, I wasn't even in combat. You know, I can understand a little bit, but I don't really get it. So that's what really solidified my wanting to get involved.
Yeah. Well, it does. It opens up people's hearts and minds to get that like-minded community together, to say you're not alone. We've been there, whether you served in combat or not. Which I love that you're involved and you were there. It sounds like from the very beginning, just like Helen was. And a huge shout out to Dan who started this entire organization. I wanted to go back to the naming, the Warrior Bonfire program.
I was just going to bring that up.
Oh, please.
Yeah. No, I know what it's about, but I want our listeners to kind of understand the meaning behind Warrior Bonfire. And whether it be Helen, I know because I was at Vetstock with you, Mike, and so I was able to find out what that all meant.
Go ahead, Helen.
Yeah, so the bonfire is it. We have a ceremony at the end of each retreat, and it is an American flag retirement ceremony. But we take it to a little bit of a different level, where beforehand we have dismembered the flag into red, white, and blue strips, and each member is given all three colors. And as we read through this very emotional retirement ceremony, it describes each color and what those mean. And in that process, we pause for each of them to retire each color, and they name those that they lost in combat or since then. You know, so many of them now are retiring names of their buddies that you know have struggled since they got home. And one of the most profound things that came up a couple of months ago at one of our retreats, one of our members said, "You know, I have not said his name out loud in so long," and he said, "I promised that I would never forget." And the ability just to say his name out loud has been just was incredibly powerful for him, healing for him, and you know it's helping him fulfill that promise that he would never forget.
Touching. I love the name. You know, Josh and I both, I think it resonated with us when we first met you all that there is a ceremony. Because we've both been to military funerals. Many of my family has served and have passed away. And it's so that the ceremony itself with the flag portion of it, it's a very humbling and sombering moment. And to bring in the healing, not only is what you mentioned, Helen, but it's a huge reflection point of our lives matter. And it's a very poignant moment. And I'm so grateful that you all are doing this. It's such a huge gift for all of those that truly face things that are so challenging, to say the least. So, I mean, and to know that you all have grown from 2 to now 40 different programs. Am I saying that correctly? Programs per year. What do you attribute to the growth that has been so exponential over the last 10 years?
Well, the growth really comes from two areas. One, and most importantly, is that almost everybody we've served was recommended to us by someone else that they knew, another Purple Heart. and I can't tell you the exact number, but there's about 12. We've served about 1,200 Purple Hearts through 1,200 opportunities through the retreats. But there was over 8,000 Purple Hearts just coming out of the global war on terrorism. There's still probably 30,000 Vietnam era Purple Hearts out that still with us. And so our drive is to serve more and more. Now we couldn't do that without funding, and we've got some very generous donors. We've got a lot of smaller donors, but that so we can do that. I mean, on my way over here, I stopped at a friend of mine's house who is a World War II veteran, and he's 102, and you guys both met him, and he just gave me another donation because he knows the important work we're doing.
He was an amazing interview. Sarah, you were able to speak with him at the event.
I was. He was my first interview at that stock, and man, is he with it, and so funny. And a tad sarcastic, if I can. I mean, he just mentally and funny and so incredible and very supportive, of course.
But it takes funds to
of course,
to help us serve more. And our growth is not a fast growth. It's been a very slow, methodical thing.
Of course, yeah. If this moves you, you can absolutely. Every donation matters. That's what I tell people across the board. If you can give whatever you can give, it will go to the right spot, and it all matters. So if you go to warriorbonfireprogram.org, there is a place to donate. There are other ways of giving too, because you guys are all over the United States. People can host. Okay, do you want to talk about that too? If they
Let Helen do that.
Helen, okay,
Yeah.
you take that away.
Yeah, so yeah, we appreciate so many of our local hosts. So if anyone wants to host a retreat, there are things that we look for in particular is the proximity to a major airport. We try to get them no further than 2 hours from a major airport, just because it's hard on the travel day for them. Um, and then we're looking for not only lodging that can support 6 to 7 people in individual beds, but also close to activities, whether it's hiking or kayaking or rafting or fishing or hunting or whatever. Um, but yeah, so that is a tremendous way that you can support. And something that we've created in the last few years as part of one of our programs for those individuals that have hosted us for more than 5 years, we've started a program called the Give Back Work Week. And we pulled together some of our members to go back out to those properties that have hosted us out of their personal funds and giving and whatnot. And we come up with a project for them to do for the week. So they're giving back because that's what we want to show their appreciation to not only us, the organization, but all volunteers. And it gives them a sense of purpose that they're helping to maintain a property that's then in the future still going to be there to support their brothers and sisters that visit in the future. So it's developing in a very beautiful part of our program. Yeah, so that's one way that people can give is by hosting, or if you learn that we're coming to your area, whether it's helping us find local donations for meals or activities, lodging. There's various ways for people to get involved and help with us.
I love the give back work week. That's a wonderful way of giving back. And tell us a little bit about Adopt a Purple Heart.
So Purple Heart is the concept of it costs roughly about $2,000 for one, and that's kind of the minimum amount to sponsor one to go on a retreat. Because we cover all of their expenses from the time they leave home, their airline or gas, or, or we cover their food, we cover their lodging, all the activities. So adopting a Purple Heart is that. It's a $2,000 donation that goes towards um, one Purple Heart to get them to a retreat.
Love that you brought up airfare, that you help really from the moment they leave to the moment they're done. So I mean, a lot of people out there rack up those airline miles. That's another great way to donate. Donate a vehicle if you have an extra one, or one that you never drive. You want to donate. I love the private plane ride. That sounds absolutely amazing. If you are, I mean, I know some pilots out there. So for those of you that know somebody that owns a plane, or that co-owns a plane and can donate something like that, especially airline miles, definitely that's a great way to give back as well. I wanted to go into a little bit more because the Purple Heart recipients are such a great focus. But for those, I mean, you have a couples retreat, you have family retreats, beyond the bonfire, jamming at the bonfire. So do you want to talk a little bit about the spouses retreats versus just the solo Purple Heart recipients?
Yeah, sure. So our spouses retreats, we try to mirror those retreats to be what their Purple Heart spouse goes through when they go on a retreat. Because when they come on one and they see what happens, they better understand, and they're more supportive their husbands and wives and stuff going on the retreats, right? So pulling them together though is as much as it's similar and as different. We do even a much smaller group with them because for most of them are women and they need a space to just talk out a lot of their things. Um, so they when they get together, they really learn that they're not the only ones going through these things. They don't have the support network that a lot of veterans have. Um, most of their identity becomes their Purple Heart spouse because they're not only raising their families, most of them are working outside the home, but they're also doing tremendous caregiving for their husbands that for many of them, they never expected to be doing that before the age of, 60, 65, right? Many of them have been taking care of their spouses full time, starting in their, late 20s or 30s. And so over the years, that takes a tremendous toll. And again, for most of them, they're surrounded by other people in their communities that are not married to military, so they don't really have anybody to talk to about it. And it just can create such a stigma. So to bring them together and give them that space to learn that, you know, they're not the only ones. One of the things that I always think is really incredible is we'll have a spouse that went through the full thing. They were married before the deployment. They got the call. They, met their husband back at Walter Reed, and they went through the entire shebang, right? Whereas then there'll be another spouse on the trip that has been married for 5 years, way past the deployment, way past um, the, the the medical healing portion of the journey. And for the one that went through all of the deployments to be able to explain why this other woman's husband does certain things, why they get anxious when they go out in public, why they all of a sudden can go dark and be quiet for a while and talk about anything. Um, it's just really interesting how they can educate each other as to what those things mean and how to navigate them, not to feel like they're walking on eggshells all the time. It's some really beautiful conversations for all of them to kind of understand deeper in the why. And yeah, and it's just a beautiful thing when they get together. It's very different. And for them, when we take them through the bonfire ceremony, some of the way that they retire the flag and who they name are very different. Sometimes they're naming, those buddies that they know, by taking on the identity of their husbands, right? They say those names, but some of them will say things like, I'm retiring now for the husband that I sent off to war that didn't come home because he came back a completely different person. And so it really is just a whole different level of a retreat that our veterans go through. And then when we bring them together on couples retreats, it's just amazing, right? Because they are not only working through the natural things that a married couple is working through, the struggles of finances and children and housing and jobs and all the things, but they're also working through the very long journey together with all these, medical issues and um, you know, traumatic brain issues and forgetfulness um, and dependency and all these things. And again, they're sharing with each other and other couples, and it just makes them feel so much better to know that they're not by themselves, that they're not the only ones feeling the way that they're feeling. And and then on those couples retreats, we're working through uh, communication. We take them through different programs to help them to understand each other better and find better ways to communicate with each other.
Gonna ask that. So on your typical retreat, I love that you open this up to spouses and couples. Trauma, it can affect so many people along the journey, and to have that healing process from a lot of people is so crucial. So I'm so glad Warrior Bonfire does that. On a typical retreat, I'm sure they're all very different. But do you have, you mentioned skill set. So is it each day that each hour or each couple hours that you're working on something different? Is it more communication or let's write something out or let's talk about it? How do those days look?
Yeah, so we take them through each day. So I'll kind of back up a little bit. Our leaders we call them bonfire leaders, and they are Purple Heart Warrior Bonfire members that traveled with us in the past, gone through the program, and we bring them on to be leaders and train them to do not only the administrative things that we do, but to make sure that the model that we want to present on each retreat happens each time, so that our members, when they come, they know exactly where they're coming, they know exactly what they're expecting to get out of the retreat. And so through that, we have a model where the first day, we're diving into the introductions, everybody getting to know each other, where you are today, which what you do. But then we also ask them to share that past of what happened, how did they how did they become a Purple Heart? Everyone in that circle has been in a place of great vulnerability at one point in time, and we learn a lot through that vulnerability. And so as they go through and they share their stories, it encourages the other ones that may not have ever shared their story before to open up, because it's a very relaxed, calm setting. And so that's the first day. Then the second day, and this has progressed over the years based on what our members, the feedback that they have given us and what they're looking for. So over the last 10 years, our program itself went from being really relatively simple to being a little bit more detailed and focused in certain areas based on what they've asked of us to do. So the second day, we talked through something called coping skills. They're all you know, they're out there every day in crowds and traffic and, you know, listening to all the chaos of the world. And it causes their anxiety to rise, their lack of control of what's happening around them. Sometimes it just really wrecks them. And a lot of it's because of so many of them have ingredients that it's very difficult to manage some of the situations. So when this coping skills conversation is, we ask them to share with each other, you know, what do they do, and how do they get through those tense times. You'll have some that jump out and say, you know, I just want to stop and count 10 until I calm down and just keep counting until I calm down, or I say the Lord's Prayer over and over again until I get relaxed. Some, have found that, doing latch hook or needlepoint or art or photography, or, they're starting to take advantage of a lot of the programs that are out there to help them really learn how to calm their nerves and, and be still, right? And so what's really neat is when you hear one member talk about doing yoga, and the other guys over there going, "Are you for real? Really?" And they do, but because they're hearing it from their peers, they're more inclined to try things. And then the next day, we start working with them on setting goals. We started to see, around 8, 9 years in this space, we started to see that we were reaching a plateau of, I'm just gonna keep doing this. These are good right now. I'm gonna keep doing here and doing these programs. And so we started trying to tap into getting them to set short-term goals so that they would encourage them to keep moving forward versus finding that comfort place just sitting there. So some of them, their short-term goals could range anywhere from, you building a small nest egg for finances, or, weight loss, eating healthy. So we're always encouraging to do healthy things. But that's kind of pretty much how the weekend progresses. And we've learned that if we overload it with too many things, then that gets cumbersome. But if we leave it a little bit more organic and fluid, the conversation really will just take off into all different healthy habits. So it's been a really good model.
I'm a little curious, and I kind of want to ask both of you because I know that, and you've stated it, that a lot of times, they can only talk to people who've been there. They can really only talk to their brothers that have experienced the same thing. And when it comes to the spousal thing, is there a certain tool? I know there's many different tools that you guys use and equip them with. Is there a certain tool that you have found most effective bridging that gap where they can start talking to their spouses about their experiences? No.
To be honest with you, no.
Okay.
There's a little bit of that with the couples retreats, but there's so few couples retreats.
Mm-hmm.
It's not serving that many people.
Mm-hmm.
But to be honest with you, no. We don't really focus on that.
Right.
But that being said, sometimes that naturally kind of opens up. If I can talk to all these guys that are my buddies, and this one has talked to his wife, maybe I can talk to my wife.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of stuff that happens, and it just happens by them. One of the things that I'll always say, the hard work we do is, planning activities, planning bonfire retreats, getting airline reservations, making sure there's food going to be provided, where are we going to do the bonfire, how are we going to pay for all this, blah, blah, blah. The important stuff they do.
Right.
The important stuff is done by them. We just are giving them the venue to be together and talk about stuff.
Gotcha.
And again, because we have the leaders are their peers, they tap in and really understand what this individual is looking for, and they can recognize based on their own experience what what someone else across the table from them is experiencing and what they need.
You teach coping skills. I'm a huge believer in that, and people do they gravitate towards what works for them, right? Yoga or being outside or a physical activity helps, and some people love writing or singing. We have musicians in here all the time that's very therapeutic for them. For the non-auditory, I did this with my son who went through medical procedures, and it was breathing techniques, and he would watch me do it. And we would do, I know, Helen, you can't see me, but you kind of map your hand, and it is just this soothing rhythm. So I love that the coping skills, because it's not always something that's taught in everyday life. And then
and we're not really teaching coping skills. It's everybody sharing their different coping skills for different things. I mean, Helen brought up the Lord's Prayer. I was at that one where that guy said that, and he said, I get so angry so quickly that I used to just blow. And so I say the Lord's Prayer, and that helps him. And maybe somebody else can pick that up, or Josh always when he needs to cope with something, he always goes for a walk in the woods. And that might be a good thing for you. And a lot of people like to just lay down and listen to music. So it's really not a teaching; it's a providing of ideas for you to use.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious with not only couples but Purple Heart recipients, how many times can people go on retreats? As many as
There's
they
no
want?
limit.
Okay.
We do pick people that we know that are in a dark place and need it. And so we'll get that guy on a trip first. And we find that out from Bonfire leaders. We've got a group, and I don't even know how many people are doing this now, but there's mostly from my Rotary Club in Highlands Ranch, but they're kind of all over now. People doing check-in calls once a quarter. Everybody gets a call from the Warrior Bonfire program. So that's the first line. Then the next one is people on the wait list. And then we open it up to alumni. But, they can sign up, and if there's a space and nobody else wants it, you can go as, we don't limit it.
And there's a spot for those on the website. Is that correct? For those that want to be, okay. So just go to warriorbonfireprogram.org. If you want more information there. I wanted to pivot. I definitely want to talk about Vet Stock.
Yeah.
We loved being a part of that, and we're thrilled. So it's already scheduled June 12th through the 14th. So those that are here in Colorado, please mark your calendars. Again, it's called Vet Stock, and this, of course, benefits the Warrior Bonfire program, June 12th through the 14th, and it will take place again at Max Taps at Highlands Ranch. That was so much fun.
That was a good venue. I really liked that place.
Lots of music.
Yeah.
Lots of music, lots of fun.
Yes, and you get to partake.
We had like 22 bands, and the majority of those, with the exception of one or two, are all playing for the event. They're charged to us for them to be there. So it's just really incredible.
Are they already booked? Are the acts booked?
He's working on it.
Okay.
He hasn't told. He's working on it.
Nice. I love it. We're a lot of times sworn to secrecy beforehand, so we're excited. Well, we definitely want to be a part of that next year.
So do you know something we don't know?
No, I do not.
Okay.
Mike, I'm in the dark.
We know a lot of bands.
We do know a lot of
If you ever need.
True. So again, Vet Stock, June 12th through the 14th at Max Taps, which is down in the southern southern metro area of Denver and Highlands Ranch. And you also have diamonds and dog tags. And next year, we're not there yet. 2026 is August 8th in Mississippi. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about that event because we were not there this year.
Well, it's kind of our annual big benefit, and we typically do it every other year in and around Jackson, Mississippi, and every other year in and around Denver. And then we did one year in the Hudson Valley of New York. And really, it's a cocktail party, dinners, a silent auction, music. There's always a bonfire ceremony. It's your typical gala benefit, whatever you want to call it. And this past summer we did it at Cable Land Mansion in Denver. Great venue, and we have a lot of fun. We have a lot of Texans involved in the Warrior Bonfire, and so they make it fun. If there's no fun going on, they're going to make it fun.
You bring the Texas Cowboys, yeah.
Me and my son were driving a group in a van, and they were loud.
Yeah, that's kind of their slogan, right?
Yeah.
To be big in Texas, they may have their presence, which is great. I'm glad that they do. Well, we're excited for, of course, the Colorado Vet Stock June 12th through the 14th this next year. It's almost next year, about 3 weeks. You all are amazing. Thank you again. For those of you that just joined, we've been talking about the Warrior Bonfire Program, and their website is warriorbonfireprogram.org. And if you want to send an email, you can do so at info@warriorbonfireprogram.org, or give them a call at 601-994-3266. Of course, it's always amazing if you can donate, as small or as big as you can. It's for a wonderful cause to help the Purple Heart recipients and their loved ones out to just go through their journey and go through a very healing process. And other ways to get involved: you can volunteer for events, you can be a part of the ceremonies, you can, gosh, there's so many, I have tons of stuff here. Adopt a Purple Heart. That's super cool. I love the Give Back Work Week. That's super special. Airline miles, donate lodging, because you guys are all over, almost in 32 states now.
Yes, and she left off Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico, okay.
We go to Puerto Rico once a year.
Nice.
And
okay,
I got to
Puerto
mention that
Rico.
just because it's my buddy's house that's in Puerto Rico. So if he's listening, I got to
And
say.
he's from Colorado.
Yeah, he lives here. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
But yeah, Colorado. I want to point this out. I mean, it's been tremendous to us. We do several of our retreats there, all up in the Rocky Mountains and all over. And one of the ways that right now that you can give is through Colorado Gives. It's on December 3rd, but early giving has already started, I believe. And you can go to the Colorado Gives website and look us up and donate there. I think the early donations are matched or possibly matched up to $100. So you can really make your money go further by doing that. And again, Colorado has been tremendous to us. A lot of volunteers, a lot of support, and we're headquartered there. So just wanted to point that out. Colorado's been really special.
Thank you, Helen. I know Josh and I are both natives. We love Colorado. It's a great giving state. And I appreciate you mentioning Colorado Gives Day. The actual date is the 9th, but as you said, you can give all the way up until the 9th. And First Bank is so gracious and greatly helps with the matching capabilities with that. So a huge thank you. So if you are looking to give, definitely can go through Colorado Gives platform or go straight to warriorbonfireprogram.org. as well.
Can I say something?
Please.
Yeah. I'm not a native. Lived here most of my life. Left a couple of times and came back. But this, I don't know if you guys know this, but Colorado has the largest giving day of any state in the country.
I didn't know that.
That doesn't surprise me.
I
too
mean,
much.
We're an eighth of the population of California, an eighth of the population of Texas, and Colorado passes them both up.
Yeah, I assume this is on the 9th. Is that correct for Colorado Gives Day?
Colorado Gives Day,
specifically?
yeah, but it's the whole season of Colorado Gives.
Yeah, we are. I love the state. You know, it is the joke is you move here and you better set up a nonprofit because I mean that is more than 90% of Colorado is built on small to medium sized businesses, and nonprofit is a big piece of that. So we love to give back because we're so community oriented and we every dollar that you give goes towards such an amazing cause. So I appreciate you all for being here. Is there anything else that you wanted to make sure that we hit on before we exited?
Not really. I mean, we could talk about this all day.
I want to thank you guys. You've had us on twice now. You came and broadcast from Vetstock, so I want to thank you guys for all you have done to help us.
We absolutely love it. Especially when it comes to veterans. We're tied in with a few different organizations, and you guys, especially with the Vetstock, took music and vets for raising funds. So I'm all about that as a musician. So
Don't forget there was beer there too.
There was beer there too. Exactly. Got to have some of that. No, I'm looking forward and food. I'm looking forward to going again this next year and really just having some fun for a great cause. And thank you very much. And I really want to have you guys back in again as we get closer to those events, just so that we can really promote them as well, and try to get as many people as we can over there. So, and everybody that's listening, definitely just go to warriorbonfireprogram.org. All the information is right there, but listen into K4CO Radio as well. And this interview will actually be on our social media platforms for at least a month. So if you just caught the end of it, you can rewind it, go to the beginning. You can share it with anybody that you think would be interested in these events as well. So.
I agree. This is so moving for me. I mentioned earlier, my dad went to West Point. He served in the Army, and his brothers one was in the Navy, one was in the Air Force, and my mom's father was a lieutenant colonel in the Marine Corps and was a Purple Heart recipient. So it truly speaks to me. I know it, not me personally, but I've watched what it's done through their lives. So this is such a wonderful program. I'm so glad that you exist. It's so needed and truly to help people. And it can be something that seems so simple in a moment to have community in that conversation, but it can absolutely change the person's life in a positive trajectory very easily. So thank you to both of you.
Absolutely.
And to Dan and your entire staff, your entire board. And I'm so excited for you guys to really grow from 2 retreats to now almost 40 coming up. So you're doing something very right.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
And Helen.
Oh yeah. I would. Absolutely.
I need to see your shiny face here back in Colorado.
I know you kind of wish it was in December now so that you can come and it's snowy and cold and all that, but
I think we do it inside.
yeah.
I want to be in Puerto
Backstage.
Rico. Like, man, I know it.
Definitely.
No, I love Denver. I come here as often as I can.
Thank you very much again for coming on in, and for everybody listening, thank you again. This will be on K4CO Radio social media platforms for at least a month, and go to warriorbonfireprogram.org. You can also call for information, 601-994-3266. Well, coming up in about a half hour, you have 1 solid hour of only Colorado musicians in our rotation every single day from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. And then, of course, an all-new episode of Kind of Vague Radio starting at 9 p.m. tonight by Andrew Tao and Rob Dixon. Helen, Mike, thank you very much again. It's been such a pleasure.
It's been
Thank
fun.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great night and stay warm out there. And Helen, you're already warm, so you're covered.
Yeah.
All right. Take care, everybody.